What up, my fellow Knicks fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now in this segment, we'll be taking a look at Game 3 where the Pistons, the cracks are starting to show. Cade Cunningham had a lot to deal with, especially with the Knicks cooking on the offensive as well as the defensive end as a unit. And it was led by the efforts of Jalen Brunson as well as the defense of Anthony Towns, especially in that fourth quarter. But again, we'll dive into the adjustments they made going from Game 2 to Game 3. And also Tom Thibodeau finally opening up that damn playbook. The Knicks had a well-balanced offense, and this was something that they were doing in the very beginning of Game 2, but they sort of went away with it. But at the end of the day, it all culminated in that fourth quarter, especially with JB being so clutch. But hey, I'm not going to say no more. Let's just get to it.
I'm just happy Tibbs played me all those minutes of the regular season. Got me in shape for the playoffs.
I'll go right.
Game 3 was just one of those beautiful road games where just everything was working offensively as well as defensively. Just the cohesion, everything just kind of came together like a perfect meal. The defense combined so many different players to stop Cade, and then you had Anthony Towns killing them in the paint. Then you had JB in the fourth quarter as a dessert, just coming through so clutch. But right here in this game, we saw a lot more of the Knicks leveraging, the Pistons not really having shooters like that. Look at Josh Hart. He's the low man, but look how he backs away from Asar. Remember, Asar was his original man. Now the Knicks are leveraging this spacing, and they're closing in on Cade coming off these picks. Once again, Cade early in the possession. Check out Josh Hart. He's going to back away from Asar Thompson. And they got Brunson right here playing sort of a 2v1 zone. But it's not like Asar is a threat from out here. Anytime the team this season is communicating on defense, great things are going to happen. Check out Josh Hart. He picks out Brunson has a mismatch. He tells Towns to stay on him because he's not worried about Asar. So he's going to pick up on Duren. Pistons are unable to capitalize. In Game 3, we really saw the Pistons just having lack of shooting throughout their whole team, even off the bench, as Ron Holland's right here on the floor and Josh Hart is completely off him. But just look at their options. They got Schroeder, who normally doesn't shoot well from 3, even though he had a great game right here. And the only guy at the moment that's hot that kind of rescued them in that first quarter was Tim Hardaway Jr. But look at Josh Hart, completely comfortable and just leaving Holland wide open. In plays like that, we're able to see Cade make the proper reads, staying patient. And just imagine if the Pistons had much better shooters. In the future, I would say the Detroit Pistons, they're going to be a problem for us. It's going to be a nice little rival. I'm more lean as that being the latter. But, they're going to make things interesting. Them as well as the, I would say, the Orlando Magic. If they can get a decent enough point guard. There could be issues going into the future. The same way, for the Carmelo Anthony Knicks, the Pacers out of nowhere was an issue. Or same thing for Patrick Ewing in the 90s, or I should say the early 90s with the Pacers. But going back to the Knicks, exploiting the Pistons' lack of shooting. Check out Mikal right here on Ron Holland. He's going to completely back away from him. Just ignore him. And that's going to allow him to get off that block. Once again, here's the Knicks defense putting the Pistons in a position where some of their younger guys have to make plays. Look at Duren. He barely saw the ball right there. But this position right here, him as the roll man, is tough. And Josh Hart with a great closeout. Again, Duren and even Isaiah Stewart when he comes back to a degree, are they comfortable enough to operate in this position right here, make the quick reads, or put the ball on the ground, make something happen for themselves? And going back to what I said before, when Cade gets more help, better role men in this position, guys who are actual threat, this team could be looking a lot different. I'm not saying they have to have a stretch center, but they could have at least someone at the 4 that can shoot and run plays and set screens for Cade. That could be an interesting shakeup in the Eastern Conference. Here's Cade going through the motions. Duren sets the screen. Cat is anxious. Good shit right here. He shows that he's going to be in his spot. And then check out Josh Hart. He's backed off of Harris. Now Harris, unlike in games 1 and 2, he's cold from the field. And this is where things get switched up now. With him being cold, Josh Hart could just load up and then close out. Now we just seen the defensive energy and effort from Cat. Look at JB on this hedge right here. He's showing anything to slow down Cade. And JB once again, he slowed him down right there for a split second. And now OG's recovered. Usually when Jalen Brunson and Cat is showing a lot of effort on the defensive end, it's a good sign. That sort of played out in game 1. And it was infectious to the rest of the team. And they were able to contain Cade. And in game 2, it was the polar opposite. And we see Cade drop, 21 points in the first half? So it is what it is. And there was something about Mikal in this game. Just off ball, he was making Cade work so hard. And just a combination of just dealing with OG's, strength all game long. Then you combine that with Mikal's speed. And the Knicks having so many versatile perimeter defenders. Deuce McBride, Josh Hart. All these factors began compromising him, especially with the limited options they have as far as shooting. Tim Hardaway Jr. only came through for that first half, and Dennis Schroeder was pretty much reliable the whole game. Cade just going through so many different defensive looks, he ended up with 6 turnovers. In a way, he should remind us of Jalen Brunson that first season that he was on the Knicks, going up against Miami in the playoffs. Sort of limited shooting options, the spacing wasn't quite correct. JB didn't really have that pick and pop big. It was just him and Randall. Randall being on that one leg really didn't help. And also RJ Barrett, he was kind of cold from the field, as well as Emmanuel Quickly. So just looking at the team now, it's crazy what a couple off seasons could do. Now jumping into the third quarter, and this is where the defense only had this rough patch of the night. Anthony Towns, for some reason, stopped pressuring Cade coming off this pick. He never hedged, and he never applied any ball pressure. Here's Cat again in that pick and roll, just applying no pressure to Cade. Not getting in front of his face, no hands up. And Duran looking like Karl Malone out here with the passing. He got 10 points in the third quarter alone. Again, I kind of hang on to this concept with Cat because this inconsistency right here, as we see, there's going to be no ball pressure from Cat. Nothing at all. Not a hedge early on, and now no ball pressure. And someone like Cade with his height, he's just going to pick you apart. And this is really going to affect the Knicks going into the next round. And a team like the Celtics will definitely make you pay. So jumping into the Knicks offense in game 3, it was a beautiful thing to see. So much versatility. We got JB setting screens off ball. We got Cat and Bridges doing pick and roll. Oh, the Knicks were hitting guys off all kinds of ways. But them just showing so much diversity kind of opened things up for Cat. And he was able to attack and go downhill and eventually switch up and use his three-point range as a threat. Things got easier for everyone all around. Mikal was hitting his shots. Same thing for OG. And this was the game plan early on in game 2, going up against the Pistons. The only thing is that, a lot of the off-ball movements with Brunson, that offense just completely stalled, which led the Knicks to have one of the most ugliest third quarters, only scoring 4 points for most of it. But again, early on in game 2, JB setting screens. With the extra attention on JB, it draws easy opportunity for OG. Jumping back to game 3, here's almost a similar play with Brunson setting the screen right here, involving OG, Cat, and Brunson. Extra screen by Cat. OG with the roll. Easy money. Again, this is all created from the extra attention off of Brunson setting this screen and just him possibly popping out. And any slight hesitations, it's going to cause havoc. And right here with Josh Hart having the ball. Look at Mikal and Brunson. A little guard-to-guard screen. Mikal with a great screen for Brunson. Easy money. This right here is something I've been complaining about all season long. The Bridges and Cat pick and roll. Look where it's coming from. Way up top. Cat with a flat screen right behind the defender. Now Bridges is all alone with Paul Reed on an island. He could pull up from one of many of his sweet spots. Again, I can't stress how beautiful this is to see the pick and roll between these two. And Mikal, man, he's showing flair. He's looking off Josh Hart. But I'm not going to lie, Tibbs was definitely going after the Pistons' weaknesses. them just having lack of size and not wanting to switch on Cat. As you're going to see right here, Mikal setting a screen on Duren. OG sets the second screen. And look at the Pistons avoiding the switch right here. It's easy money for Cat. That's what made it so frustrating watching game 2 in that third quarter. You knew the Knicks had enough weapons to be creative, just to give defenses different looks and just to see them so stagnant. That shit made a lot of us really question Tibbs. I'm going to shoot him slight bail because they were trying to switch up the offense other than JB just being on ball nonstop, running ISO plays 24/7. Should just end up stalling. I don't know why, but it just did. And they were still in position to win that game. Bridges missed 2 open threes in the last 3 minutes, and JB took that early 3-pointer off of isolation. That's why I said this series is really for the Knicks to lose. This Pistons team, they just don't quite have enough. The closing moments in this game was very similar to last season, going up against the Indiana Pacers in game 3, where the Knicks made quite a few boneheaded mistakes and couldn't quite close out the game and take a 3-0 lead. First of all, this jump ball right here is on some Vlade Divac shit. How the hell is a tip pass to an open 3-point shot? The Knicks are really fortunate that the Pistons have a lot of their core players that are still young and learning the NBA game, especially on this playoff level. As Duren right here, instead of kind of nudging right here and closing this gap because Josh Hart is a 3-point shooter, he should have fully committed because he had Cade as his low man. Jalen Duren, easy jump ball against Brunson, and he tips it out of bounds. Young player mistakes. And another thing that kind of stuck out was the Knicks giving up so many open 3-point looks under 3 minutes. I believe Tim Hardaway Jr., who was hot in the first half, had 2 clean looks. And Malik Beasley, who was cold for most of the game, had the other open shot. The defense in closing moments, man, their details was on point. Right here with this screen, OG is going to show blitz. And as soon as he shows it, check out Mikal. Mikal's going to attempt and sort of hedge near Tim Hardaway Jr. Cat is on Duren. Just a reference. See, as OG blitzes right here, look at Mikal at the same time. Then they both recover. Now, as Cade drives, we're going to check out Josh Hart, who's on Tobias Harris, who's been cold all game. He's going to perfectly time this. Gives Cade a different look and takes away that left side. With JB always doing what he does in the fourth, the defense is really what we got to kind of zone in on, especially heading into round 2 with more than likely the matchup that we all want against the Boston Celtics, where everybody spaces out the floor and is a threat. The way OG and Mikal just moved, almost like an accordion. These exact moments against the Pistons almost serves as a perfect medium to exercise this Knicks defense. Going back to some of the defense in the closing moments, Cat plays some tremendous defense, just going straight up right here. I don't know if he needed some Gatorade in the third or them Tibbs minutes was getting to him, but in the fourth quarter, he finally woke up. And just looking at some bonus stuff to end this game, a little controversy right here. This is not a backcourt violation, just FYI. According to the rules, his momentum was already going backwards. He has to establish himself here, then go backwards. The ending to this game was like something written out of a movie. I mean, the referees, first of all, they have full control of the shot clock. I don't know if they have like a button on their belt. They got some sort of digital device where as soon as the ball touches someone's hands, that's when they hit the clock. So the Pistons at this point just sort of have to play taps on this rebound and just try to chuck it up all in one motion. But instead, the referees, they hit it too early. And this is my issue right here with the league. Why in the hell is there opportunity for the Pistons to actually inbound the ball in the direction of the hoop? If the referees made a mistake, wouldn't it make more sense for them to just redo the free throw? Because the Pistons originally, their only chance was to rebound the ball and flick it up all in one motion. I mean, if they wanted to, they could have almost flicked it in the direction of the hoop and somebody just tipped it in. but that would have never been possible in the last sequence. But of course, with the Knicks, they're no strangers to the rule changes after a fucking incident happens directly with them. It occurred in the 1994 finals where the Knicks were fouled at the three-point line, and in today's rules, it would have been 3 free throws, but back then, it was only 2. And that would have helped the Knicks capture that NBA title. But of course, the league pivots when it can no longer help us. It is what it is. The Knicks should start wrapping this up sooner or later, because this Pistons team is beginning to unravel. And, they still have a long way in their journey because they are technically in between a rebuilding phase. But, that's how the NBA landscape is. Certain teams could surprise you, but the Knicks have greener pastures to go on and look forward to. And the Boston Celtics, a lot of the concepts in this particular matchup will translate over going up against the Boston Celtics. So until next time, you fellas, stay safe. Peace.